Yeah.
Okay.
It's usually like 10 minutes or so, but they'll have a 10-minute warm-up anyway, so it'll be about 20 minutes.
Hello race fans, Peter Mackay here, welcoming you to the BSR Kia Classic here at the World Centre of Racing, Daytona International Speedway. Today we're going to have some fast and furious touring car racing around the high banks of Daytona and the infield road course as well. Joining me in the commentary box today is Adam Hedgecock, and bringing you these wonderful images and graphics is the ever-talented Dennis Branch. Adam, welcome to the programme. You are quite a stalwart of the series, I believe, so what can we expect from these drivers today?
Stalwart, that's a bit rich. No, I've done a couple of seasons in the Kia before it changed over to the TCR, and I've raced a lot of these guys in other series, other BSR series as well. There's a plethora of talent out there. Some historically great drivers that are coming back to make an appearance, and some of the new guns as well. It should be a brilliant evening. I'm really looking forward to it, Peter.
Certainly, and so am I. And I quite enjoyed your description while we were having a chat off air before we came on live tonight. You described the field as brutal. And well, if there's one thing that describes top-level touring car racing in the real or virtual world, brutal would be a very good description indeed. So our drivers are out for their open qualifying session right now. 15 minutes to get out there and set a lap time here at the Daytona International Speedway. We are running the road course here at Daytona, not the oval. So if you're familiar with the Rolex 24 Hour at Daytona, one of the real endurance classics of the calendar, that's the track that we're running today. Now, if you're the track actually has been used for touring cars in the past. In the Michelin Pilot Challenge series with the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, they do actually run a race here at the Daytona Road Course, and within the Michelin Pilot Challenge there is a TCR class. Now, there are no Kias, of course, and you know, you think about Daytona, you think about brands like Ferrari and Porsche. Kia's not one that comes to mind, but I think we're going to be in for some good racing tonight, Adam. These have actually got some pretty good grunt down the straight with flat shift gearbox, not far off 400 horsepower, so they're, for a front-wheel drive car, they're pretty powerful.
They are. I've done a couple of races here in them, and they are an absolute nightmare, but it's brilliant fun. Outrageously quick, incredibly difficult to get the power down without understeering. As you said, the amount of horsepower they've got going through those front wheels is just balmy, absolutely balmy. And you have to have a pretty good right foot to not just boot it and understeer off at every corner. Draft here is a big thing in these cars. You know, the toe is absolutely massive, and especially in this qualifying, you know, everyone's going to be trying to get a little bit of a toe, a little bit of an advantage just to get them up the order, just a little bit more. But close racing, like I said, you know, you've touched on it before. You know, racing in these is brutal. The field is one of the most competitive group of drivers I've ever come across. If you try and let a faster guy through, you know, because you want to get their toe or you want to follow them around a little bit, you've got a train of like 9-10 drivers who also want to come through, and they will let you know that they want to come through at every opportunity. So you really have to be on your guard, but brilliant fun nonetheless.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it will be. And funny enough, you mentioned brutal, and you mentioned a competitive field. Well, we just saw that on camera with a number of the drivers doing a brilliant impression of some Moto 3 World Championship riders. Of course, and as you mentioned, the toe is so important. And what that means for our viewers who are perhaps new to racing, it basically means that the car, bit of contact even in qualifying here. Yes, it basically means that the car in front basically punches a nice big hole in the air for you. And as the speed increases, of course, that car in front is effectively a bit of a windbreak for you. So it's reducing the air resistance on your car and therefore helping you increase speed. So you'll see it a lot in NASCAR is probably where it's most prevalent, where you'll see the draft being very important, particularly when they come here for the Daytona 500. So that's going to be massive today. Now, quite often in iRacing, the drivers will get the whole track to themselves and they'll have 2 laps to set their lap time. Now, that's not what we have today. What we have today is a group qualifying session. As you can see, Sebastian Job in the Red Bull Racing Esports Kia. I bet that's the first time a Red Bull livery's been on a Kia before. And look at that. Look at this fun and games. They don't want to be the one pulling one of their rivals round behind, because the difference in lap time is huge. But this is hilarious. This is crazy, Adam.
This is the kind of shenanigans you get in the BSR Kia leagues. It was brilliant fun. Everyone was not taking the mickey as such, but everyone was so intent on getting the advantage themselves that it led to some brilliantly hilarious moments. You know, everyone just trying to undermine and underhand the guy in front. A lot of fun. Can I just give a shout out, by the way, before we get the whole kind of proper proceedings underway, to Andrew Woodhouse and Adam Barth, who are racing tonight in the league. They've both raced in the league before, but they are, of course, the legendary commentators that have covered this series pretty much from start to finish, and are now continuing the touring car Thursdays with the ARL TCR league. But yeah, they are a part of this league that I tip my hat to them when I was driving in it, and even before I was driving in it. Listening to those two commentate on the action was an absolute joy. So thank you to Woody and Adam, and I hope you go well tonight.
So they've gone poacher turned gamekeeper. Basically, they've come out the commentary box and now they're in the hot seat now, and they'll learn the lesson of that racing drivers probably feel a bit commentators, so all think they're on the lap record all the time. So we can and you can get your own back now, Adam. You can all the nasty things they've ever said about you on air and all the mistakes you've ever made. Now's your chance to get your own back on our colleagues.
I can do that.
Out on track.
I'm totally not going to mention that Woody's actually won a race. I'm not going to mention that because that's just too much of a good thing for him. But yes, a little bit of payback tonight, hopefully.
Quite right, and you've earned it. So, interestingly, our Sebastian Job, the Red Bull esports driver. He was the one who managed to sort of click onto the back of the pack of that group of shenanigans who were sitting having a little chat to themselves on the high banking there. But he's looking like he's well, is he letting off here and thinking, oh, there's sitting the draft there? And Jamie Fluke in the number 7 car, he's going, you know what, I've not got time for this nonsense. I just want to get out and set laps. And that's the balance, isn't it, Adam? Is that it's such a tricky decision to make for a driver. Do you just get out there, ignore what everyone else is doing, and just try and run as many laps as you can, have as many goes at setting a quick lap? And if you pull somebody around, then fine. But I guess for somebody like Sebastian Job, who, you know, nothing other than winning is good enough, I guess those are the sort of tactics you've got to deploy possibly to get that pole position.
As a suitably mediocre touring car driver, I can totally attest to wanting to get behind drivers of Job, Fluke, McFarlane's, Thompson's ability, Jack Cedric as well. You know, just you look for those kind of people on track and you think, if I can just stick close enough through the midfield, they might be able to give me a tow. And of course, they're on the other hand thinking, we need to get as far away from these guys as possible because we don't want to be held up at all. And the same goes when they see their own competitors on track. They don't want to be given advantages to people who will be racing, you know, come crunch time in race one when the lights go out. They want to be as far away from those people as possible. So it's a big game of cat and mouse. Like I said before, it's brilliant fun to watch. Not so much fun when you're out there doing it. You're sweating buckets just trying to get that performance in. The camera's on you. You don't want to upset any real world sponsors that you might have, because of course some of these drivers do have that. So yeah, it's I mean, you see Fluke now, he's pretty much on his own, got no one in front. That's going to hamper his lap for sure. You definitely need a tow here.
Yeah, so it's a fascinating thing to watch. I would say you're saying you're a mediocre touring car driver. I would give you more credit than that, Adam. But I'm a completely mediocre motorcycle racing armchair pundit. And this happens all the time, particularly in the Moto 3 World Championship, which is the kind of junior class. So it's basically a bunch of crazy teenagers from all over the world in these slightly underpowered, very, very light motorcycles, which are exactly the same as this. The difference between the tow and not a tow is just night and day. So the amount of funny business you see during qualifying there, it's exactly like this. And you see riders sitting at about 10 miles an hour waiting for the fast guys to come round, and then all of a sudden they crank the gas on and try to scamper along and try and hang on to the back. And it is quite entertaining, but of course in the motorcycle world it can be a little bit dangerous at times as well. Anyway, we're coming towards the end of the qualifying session now, and that warms my heart to see the Saltire sitting atop of the timesheets. I know I should be impartial, but I'm afraid I just can't do it. So yeah, that's Ross McFarlane sitting there, 1 minute 52.835. That is not hanging about, and he's over half a second quicker than Sebastian Job. That's pretty speedy, isn't it?
It is. He is the man in form, of course. I'm just going and checking my sheet here. One thing that I know for sure, he is the pro champion from the ARL TC series that has just finished, season 1. He is the pro champion for that. And just checking back at his previous ones, BSR TC Pro, he's third place in 2018 and 2019 as well. So he certainly knows how to get this car around the track. And like I say, he's definitely a man in form.
Absolutely, and I can imagine as a fellow Scot, he's probably really disappointed at the iRacing announcement today that we're going to get new grass. We don't want new grass, we want Knock Hill is what we want, and we want it now. Knock Hill and a Corvette, please, iRacing. Thank you very much. And now, Adam Bath, number 32, one of our Apex Racing commentators. In fact, my first ever appearance on Apex Racing TV was with Adam Bath and Dane Baird on the Israel iRacing League, and we had a wonderful time commentating on a very entertaining race at Road Atlanta. So, and in fact, I've never done one since, so maybe he said to Lee, don't you dare put me with him again.
Just a heads up for the viewers, as qualifying is coming to a close. We've got a couple of minutes while they finish off these laps that they're on. But for the viewers, the colour that we can see down the side, the pros are cyan, the Pro-Ams are yellow, and the AMs are fuchsia. So that's why you can see the different numbers and different colours there, just so you get an idea of who's in which class. Obviously the pros quicker than the Pro-Ams. quicker than the AMs. In theory, we'll soon see. But qualifying just coming to an end now. I guess the guys are just putting in their last efforts.
And for those of you who didn't get your A levels like me, that's blue, pink, and yellow.
I'm colourblind. I had to check the overlay settings to see what they were.
I do apologise. But well, it's more of a turquoise as well. But let's go light blue, pink, and red. And there's a red one in there as well. What's red? Red is Pro-Am. Okay, so have we got 4? No, I see 4 colours on there. Am I going colourblind? Anyway, we'll keep you right throughout the broadcast. So that's our grid set then. Ross McFarlane on pole position in Pro class with Sebastian Job half a second back, with Jamie Fluke in third position, 0.6 of a second back, with Cedric fourth as well. So that's your top 4 Pro runners as well. But a good mix of classes here. Some of the Pro-Am guys getting right up there. With you look at this, Dave Baker, he's in the Pro class. He's currently running 6th overall right now. Sorry, my apologies. He's running 7th overall actually right now. There's a couple of other guys in front of him. So we'll be ready to grid up for our first race. Our first race runs in qualifying order, and then for the second 2 races, we will have a reverse grid race, which I can imagine piling down into turn 1 here at Daytona is going to be quite entertaining.
I can speak from experience. Yes, it absolutely is. It's brilliant. You don't want to lose any positions, but the normal mentality is that you'll take it easy. You'll try and find a gap, but of course, when the horses bolt, you don't want to be left standing. So you try and fill every possible gap you can with your car, and it can lead to some interesting turn 1s for sure.
Yes, it's interesting when you're. I think racing on iRacing and the quite frankly fantastic safety system that they have, which really makes the racing much more fair and much more enjoyable. There are exceptions, of course, but it's amazing how differently you approach the racing compared to, say, something like Forza or Gran Turismo or something like that, where it becomes kind of a glorified version of Mario Kart. And I find myself driving completely differently on iRacing and coming into turn 1. It's almost just survival. Right. I tell you what. Why don't you take the honour of running through our grid for race 1?
Will do. Ross McFarlane takes pole position for race 1 of the evening. As you were saying, Sebastian Job just half a second back. Now that seems quite a lot, but if you've got a bit of toe, that's not actually that far. Jamie Fluke in 3rd with Jack Cedric 4th, and Simon Field, the BSR royalty, in 5th position. Josh Thompson in 6th, sorry, misreading there. Andres Katz 7th, Steve Baxter 8th, Dave Baker 9th, Jamie Rushworth in P10, Ben Gregory 11th, and Morgan Butler in 12th. We've got Sven Glatzel in 13th, Pete Newman 14th, Ben Williams 15th, our very own Adam Bath 16th, Smolensky 17th, Cooper 18th, Kip Stevens 19th, and Andrew Woody Woodhouse in 20th. I can see a lot of the cars are getting onto the grid now, so we'll just scroll the rest of them through your screen as we get ready to start this race. There's too many. I'm not as good as Woody and Adam. I can't do the whole grid in one sitting, unfortunately. My apologies.
Yeah, if you read too many, it almost sounds like you're reading out the football results. So no, that's fine. That's right. Absolutely no problem at all. So we're almost ready to go here at the World Centre of Racing. I have to say, here we go. We're waiting for the lights to come on, and we're waiting for our pole sitter, Ross McFarlane, who's very casually just making his way to the car, and he'll just let the others wait, let their engines tick over, and he'll go, I'll be there when it suits me. I'm the pole position sitter. There he goes with the salt tyre on the roof in the number 10 machine. We should be waiting for the lights to come on in just a moment, and we will get Barney the flagman will drop the green flag and set this race 1 off in action. So 20 minutes, first of 3 20-minute races today, so no time to rest on your laurels. Lights are going up, and we are about ready to go here in the Kia Classic. We are go here at the World Centre of Racing. Not a great start from Sebastian Job. He's down to 3rd place, but it's a great start from the Scotsman Ross McFarlane, who makes it down into turn 1 nice and clean so far. Tucks a tight line to make sure he's not mugged at the first corner, but so far so good. Good discipline from the leading driver so far.
Pretty clean start, all things considered. I'm surprised it was a standing start. We saw how difficult it was to get off the line for the people on the outside line. Sebastian Job having a real issue trying to get his car started. But yeah, nice and tidy so far, isn't it? Nice and clean. Not something that I always associate with the Kias, I have to admit. But McFarlane already looking to stretch his legs, and Fluke having to go uber defensive to keep Job behind.
Yeah, Sebastian Job, he'll be pretty frustrated after that. Of course, starting on the high line there at Daytona, it is incredibly steep there, and it's very narrow. You would not believe how narrow it is on that banking in the real world at Daytona, and of course that will be absolutely replicated here in iRacing. Simon Field second in the Pro-Am class, and this is a very colourful machine he's got there in the 28 car in the boosted motorsport entry. And right now, God, this is like watching the Daytona 500, but instead of Ford Mustangs and Chevrolet Camaros, we've got a Kia Optima.
I couldn't possibly comment on how good those boosted liveries look. I couldn't possibly say. Big movers already. Craig Williams has gained 11 positions already, and following him through, George Simmons has also gained 9, so massive gains already. Biggest loser so far looks like it's Andrew Woodhouse, who's lost 16. So unfortunate for him, and Simon Field, who's lost 4, down in 9th position. Oh, look at those boosted cars. They were glorious, weren't they?
Ted Bull, I like that. That's very good. That's very, very good. But Ross McFarlane, look at that. He gets away cleanly, but Jamie Fluke is in the draft, and Sebastian Job is going to get involved there as well. So we've got a 3-car pack leading at the front, but Ross McFarlane very deep on the brakes. Down the gearbox, it's an X-Track sequential gearbox in these machines. They might not have the most sophisticated badge, but these are sophisticated touring cars. 375 horsepower in from a little 2-litre 4-cylinder motor, so heavily turbocharged as well. And Sebastian Job is through. The Red Bull Esports driver is through on Jamie Fluke. He's up to second and off in hot pursuit of Ross McFarlane.
Yeah, made it look pretty simple. I do wonder if Fluke just kind of let him have it a little bit. Doesn't want to be fighting too much, because of course you start fighting, you lose touch with McFarlane out in front, and like I said at the start, toe is everything here. So might just been a little bit of smart driving there from Fluke. Of course, you've got Cedric right behind him, and Josh Thompson, who, you know, those guys are insanely quick as well. So they want to be hooking onto the back of this group as much as they can. Baxter, great to see Steve Baxter back. He hasn't raced for a while. Hasn't been on the service for a while, so brilliant to see him back. And as I said, Simon Field, the BSR royalty. He's been around for an absolute age and has raced pretty much anything. So great to see him doing well, just behind Steve as well.
Well, let's hope he's got some bodyguards around him, looking after him on the these drafting battles up on the high banks of Daytona. So it's, whoa, look at that. McFarlane and Job absolutely glued together. Now, Adam, these cars I was surprised how heavy these cars are, 1,360 kilos. So they're not actually far off the weight of a V8 supercar. So they are pretty heavy. So actually the momentum, although they've got quite a bit of power to weight isn't that fantastic. So the momentum here is important. As Seb Job looks to the outside, he goes to the high line as they head through the tri-oval. It'll now be the last of the late breakers. Who's going to be the bravest? Is it going to be Ross McFarlane? Is it going to be Sebastian Job? Who's going to blink first? Oh, Job maybe ever so slightly, but McFarlane's got the tighter line and Job thinks better of it. And all the while that battling, and Jamie Fluke's dropped back. Oh no, the number 6 of Jack Sedgwick now taking up the 3rd position.
You could see, it's funny enough what you were saying about the weight, you could see the weight transfer as they come down into T1 there, couldn't you? The way the car kind of leans so hard on the outside tyres. One of the trickiest things of this car is understanding how to not abuse those tyres too much. They go off incredibly quickly. And it's kind of weird. Most of the time you're wanting to back the car into a corner to get that extra rotation. With all the power under your right foot, you need to be turning the car early. Otherwise, you'll just run clean off the track. So, yeah, a great visual representation of exactly what you were saying there about how heavy these cars are. We can see actually already the battling that these guys are doing. They're not really dropping the guys behind. Now, like I said before, we got Fluke, we got Thompson, we got Cedric, incredibly quick guys, but they are a cut above the pro-ams of people like Field, Baxter, Gregory, Butler behind, but they're not really pulling away as much as we think because of that battling. It's imperative for them to not battle too much. But at the same time, do you want to keep the Pro-Ams in touch? I bet the Pro-Ams are saying, stick with us, let's have a chance come the end of the race.
And of course today, I'm correct in saying that tonight is a one-off event, so there's no championship to worry about. It's just gloves off and go for the cash. Is that correct?
That is correct. It is a one-off event,
yes.
But there are cash prizes. I don't know what the totals were. They were going to be calculated once they've got the final driver list in. We'll see if we can have a chat with Jamie after the proceedings tonight, the guy who set this up. We'll have a chat with him and we'll find out what those prizes are.
Yeah, and like you say, the tyres might drop off. Although we've only got 20 minutes, they should be getting maybe a little bit past their best, at least towards the end. But although the tyres might drop... Oh, it's McFarlane and Job goes really, really wide. And Cedric now side by side. And watch the wall. Oh, God. That wall, I tell you what, there is some seriously, seriously high-credential racing drivers who have crashed into that wall, both coming past pit lane and coming out of pit lane. At the Rolex 24-hour at Daytona in the middle of the night, it was freezing cold. Oh, as we see Andreas Katz there, he's the top of the Pro-Am class, and he's right on the back of Pro Esports racer Sebastian Job in the Red Bull machine. We're talking, I tell you what, it's quite nice to have a Sebastian in a Red Bull up the front of the field. It seems like it's been an awfully long time since we've said that.
It does, yeah. Where has Katz come from? Like, I don't remember seeing his name on the tower, and all of a sudden he's here. Where has he appeared from?
Yeah.
I'm
I think he's either from Germany, Austria, or Switzerland. Now, go one of the three. Sorry. Yellow card for Mackay there. Sorry. Now, the one thing about these cars, the tyres might go off very quickly, but you can't argue with a 7-year warranty, can you? I mean, that's
this is true.
100,000 miles, whichever comes first.
I can tell you that they would have definitely lost a lot of money on that warranty with the races I've been involved in, for sure. Just looking a little bit further down the order, having a look, we got some pretty close battles actually. Cooper right on the back of Ben Williams, who's only a smidge back from Adam Barth, who again is tucked up right behind Sven Glatzel. So brilliant to see the depth of racing. This is one of the hallmarks of the Kias, was that it was close racing from P1 all the way down to P60. You always had someone to race against. There was always a great battle going on. And we're seeing it again today. Like, there's a little bit of a gap opening up, but there's still really close battles going on all the way down the order. I mean, we look down to sort of P25. Funny enough, Rob Graham, one of the stalwarts, having a right old battle here with Andrew Whitehead, another guy. Done a multitude of seasons. Oh, I say that and he goes right. There's a commentator's curse. Sorry, Ted.
Well, for Rob Graham there, now I don't know if you saw. So for our viewers, it's a rare treat for a commentator when you get given a kind of cheat sheet with a little handy fact about each driver. But it does get a little bit silly when the drivers publish. They come up with the fact themselves, and I don't know if you might need me to translate Rob's entry. Have you seen that on the sheet?
I have, yes.
It's not for, well, put it this way, folks. I can't translate it while we're on air, at least, and that tells you all you need to know about his entry. But I noticed he's representing Knockhill, which a big plus for there. I'll be up there next week on Sunday. Can't wait. Superlap Scotland. It's going to be fantastic stuff. So anyway, that's next Sunday. So it's still, speaking of Scots, a good day for the Scots. Ross McFarlane. Oh, just as I say that, commentator's curse as well. Cedric goes into the lead, and Job goes past McFarlane. McFarlane's in the wall. Oh no!
Oh no!
No! Ross McFarlane. He's in the wall hard as well. He can't even get his key out of there. Oh no! Oh, he's been given a little tap by Sebastian. Oh dearie me! He's been charged by the Red Bull. Oh dear! I wonder what the stewards have to say about that.
Very, very unfortunate. You see that a lot at this track in particular. Nobody really wants to give an inch. It's in the rule books. You know, if there's someone even a little bit alongside, you have to give room. But the drivers will only give each other just enough room. And unfortunately, we saw it there, didn't we? It's just two cars into one, didn't go, and sucks from McFarlane. It really does.
It does, because he was running really strong. He was keeping an all-star field right behind him, and it's that. No, I was thinking, is that him going again? It's not. No, What a pity there for McFarlane. And I tell you what, it happens to the best of them. It was Rolex 24 Hour this year at the very top of the field, the two DPIs. Helio Castroneves, three-time Indy 500 winner in the Penske Acura, and I think it was one of the Mazdas. I'm pretty sure it was Harry Tinknell, and Harry Tinknell absolutely nerfed Helio Castroneves into the wall there after only about 90 minutes of a 24-hour race. Oh, it's action here. Oh, dear me. Oh, bit of contact there. It's the 41 car there of Charles Kellyman getting involved in that, and Dave Baker also, dear. But yes, and Helio Castroneves, it's now very famous, a famous gif now of Helio Castroneves staring at the camera and shouting 24 hours because he'd been taken off after 90 minutes. But if it wasn't Harry Tinknell, I do apologise, but it was his car anyway, or it was maybe one of his teammates. But I doubt Harry Tinknell's tuning into our commentary, Adam, but maybe he is, you never know.
You never know. I do wonder, just seeing that Dave Baker one, he looked like he already had some damage. I'm just wondering what happened to him a little bit earlier in the lap, maybe. But that sure put paid to this race for him. Also, seeing in that same incident, it looked like one of the boosted cars was running wide at T1 to maybe avoid something in front of them. You see Job, look at him. He's tucked right up in that slipstream of Cedric in front of him. You've got to have a cool head you've really got to have a cool head to not let that bother you and not let you make that mistake. And I'm sure Job is playing that tactic where you just fill the mirrors of the driver in front of you and try and make them to make the mistake rather than having to force your way by. But of course here you can pretty much, as long as you get a good exit out the bus stop, you can draft it all the way up through the tri-oval and then take a move into turn one. But Job, he is he's looking menacing here. He is, and one thing that I can absolutely tell you with 110% experience, if you're on a reverse grid in these type of races and you see these kind of drivers come up behind you, you're in absolute awe of what they are doing, because you're pedaling as fast as you possibly can. You can't see anywhere that anyone could ever go quicker than what you're doing, because you're chucking the car into corners, you're accelerating super early. And then you see one of these guys, they just cruise on up, go past you, and just drive off down the road. And you're thinking, how is this possible? Absolutely breathtaking how some of these drivers can throw these cars around. Yeah, that's what I absolutely love about commentating on sim racing, is because the great thing is, if you have an iRacing account and the equipment at home, which of course is so accessible nowadays, is that basically this broadcast you're watching right now, you could go and load up the Daytona course, this exact car, even the exact weather conditions if you wanted to, and you could then go and set a lap time and reference yourself. And I often find, whenever I'm preparing for races, and then I look at the lap times and I go, how on earth are they doing that? Same thing, but that's something you could never do in real world. You couldn't jump in Lewis Hamilton's F1 car or Rory Butcher's touring car. It's just imagination, isn't it? No, absolutely, and that's why we love it so much, because we can be those racing car drivers just for 5 minutes. You see this Rushworth having a right old ding-dong with Baxter and Newman. These guys have been around the leagues for a long, long time, and they know how to race, and you can see it. Oh, look at that. That's nuts. Absolutely nuts. Bumping is racing, ladies and gentlemen, and you're seeing it at its finest there. Wow. Doing a good impression of a caterpillar there, the four of them all glued together. Now, I think, has Barney the flagman given us the white flag? Can you see we've got the white flag? We're approaching. No, sorry, my apologies. I think we're a 15-minute race. God, that is a blunder and a half. Well, I tell you what, even Murray Walker made mistakes. I always say that when I regularly make them. So apologies, folks. We've got about 3 or 4 more laps now. 3 laps to go, I would say, from here with the lap speed here at Daytona. Oh, a little rub there. Oh, dearie me. Rushworth getting a little bit of a move along. Of course, bump drafting is something that we see in NASCAR, but not so much on the infield on the road course. That was the number 29 car, Stephen Baxter, giving a good old punt up the backside there, and then Pete Newman in the number 9. Well, I have to say, another P. Newman Esquire had a lot of success here at Daytona, and actually, do you know that the last race that Paul Newman ever raced in was here at the Rolex 24 in 2005 at 80 years old? How cool is that? Yeah, if you can do it, then you do it, don't you? Fair play indeed.
He won it at 70. In 1995, he won his class at Daytona in a Porsche at 70 years old. Paul Newman, what a cool guy.
It should be worth noting, by the way, just as we was looking at that, with the exception of Rushworth, who was in that group, that was for the Pro-Am lead. So the top 4 or 5 of them are still really close, which is brilliant to see. We can see that Thompson and Fluke is that with him. They've fallen back a little bit from the front couple, but they're still going at it hammer and tongs, which is always good to see. You never get bored with seeing these type of drivers racing, do you? Like they don't leave anything on the table. They prepare for these type of races. They love these type of races.
Oh, sorry to cut there. The 23 of Sedgwick getting a really balked there at the International Horseshoe as they head down towards the kink, fast left-hander gear, and that allows Sebastian Job to really close up the gap there. As we see the number 6 car of Jack Sedgwick. He's at the front in the 23. My apologies, 23 of Katz. Where has he come from? That's extraordinary. And then Sebastian Job is now back to 3rd overall. I'm getting confused by the classes. My apologies. So Job is actually 2nd in class, but 3rd overall, even though he's in the top class.
Yeah, I'm still confused where Katz came from, because I don't remember seeing him in the first group, unless when there was an issue he managed to sneak through a couple of places. So apologies if we've missed that. But he's there now. Which is great to see from his point of view, battling with these guys up front. We can see that Barth and Smolensky were just having a bit of a swap around. I don't know if there was a bit of maybe there was a little bit of a dropout for Barth there. They did seem to swap places pretty quickly, so maybe that was what we were seeing.
Sometimes we can get little changes with the liveries depending on the system, but Adam Bath's car there, that maroon, green and light blue, is that what you're getting, that one as well, Adam?
I am, yes. So we are running trading paints for this.
Yes, which as am I. That's good, because I've been caught out with that before. It looks like the West Indies cricket strip. I don't know if that's deliberate.
It does, yeah. No, I'm sure that he would be racing an Apex Racing TV livery. He just hasn't uploaded it to Trading Paints. Oh, look at that toe though. He's boxed in though. Is he going to go under? Oh, he's right on the edge of going under the line. Wow. He kind of forced his way through there, didn't he?
And now he's in perfect position. He can now ram on the brakes, and is he going to get help? Wow, that was... Oh, and he's run a bit wide. He's been run a little bit wide, and is that going to allow Simmons through? They're side by side. This is... Oh, God, they're getting close to that wall as well. But Bathy's got to let him by. He'll have to have another go along the high oval there. George Simmons in the number 4, although I can't see the number 4 on his car. It's... because he's got that wonderful livery plastered all over it.
Unfortunately for him, that's not the livery he wanted to run. He has done a split livery for Boosted and for Apex. But it looks like he's forgotten to upload it to Trading Paints as well. So George, upload it to Trading Paints, buddy. Let's see it in all its glory. Gregory still holding off. I think that's Rushworth behind him, isn't it? And he's got a little bit of a gap back to Baxter Field and Newman, who are feverishly chasing him down to try and get this Pro-Am win. It'd be interesting to see how they, if they can work together. We've got literally 1 minute left of this. Wow, that's flown by, isn't it? 1 minute left, so all to do right now is gung-ho. You've got to make the moves.
So let's see, where are our leaders on track right now? If our director can have a look on where we are. So it's Jack Sedgwick out front right now. And I think, if you see on our SDK track map on the right-hand side, they're just about, I would imagine they'll be taking the white flag now. Let's see if they can see Bunny the Flagman. Will he be fiercely flapping away? I can't really see him, but that should be white flag now. 30 seconds to go in this race, and it's all happening. Oh, goodness me, and Katz gives Sedgwick a big bump there, and actually manages to sort of follow through and go past Sebastian Job as well, and Job is now dropped back. But what do you think, Adam? I don't know if you want to lead at this stage with the draft, and if this is the last lap, I don't know if you want to be at the front here, to be honest, with the draft being so significant.
I'm a big advocate for track position, but that's why I don't win races. You kind of want to be in the draft. To stand a chance, you have to be in the draft, I think.
Yeah, I think it's well. We're gonna find out. We've seen already just how calamitous the bus stop. Of course, don't forget our early leader and pole setter Ross McFarlane nerfed into the tire wall unceremoniously by Sebastian Job. Not maliciously, not on purpose. We must make that clear. But easy, as you say, easy to do in that braking zone where you're just trying to carry as much speed as you can. And sometimes the faster drivers actually go in a little bit slower in order to get on the gas a little bit earlier. But Andreas Katz, what can you say about him? He's ahead of class, basically. He's ahead of a lot of the pro runners and actually fighting for the outright victory here. And he's in a great position as they head down towards the bus stop for the final time, hard on the brakes, back a couple of gears, trying to get the car set and on the throttles early as possible, trying not to get a slowdown penalty. Ooh, that was close. They'll maybe get a little off-track incident point there, but no slowdown penalties, it seems. But Sebastian Job, I think he's too far back. I think Sedgwick might have this as they head around the tri-oval. You can see on the track map they're heading towards the finish line. Who is it going to be? It looks like it's going to be Sedgwick. Oh, it's getting very, very close, and Job tries. He goes to the low side. Can he get it on the line from Katz? No, he can't. So it's Sedgwick. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. As Katz, well held there. Very well held there from Katz. And here's your battle in the Pro-Am category. They come over the line. It's Gregory, your winner from Baxter, and then Field. And then we wait for our Am runners to come through next.
Cracking finishes both for the pros and the AMs there. Like you saw it evidently there. People are willing to risk everything in these races, and we saw it almost come to a head, but the drivers held it, and yeah, great finish from both the pros and, like I said, from the pro-ams as well. This one's going to be pretty tight. Is Robert's going to get the move done on Malcolm? Oh, look how close that is. 0.007 of a second, and Malcolm just holds on to it.
Those two cars do not look in the best of health. I think that is very much the limping to the line. But Andreas Katz, his winner in class, what a performance from him. Really got himself up there with the very cream of the crop, finishing second overall behind Sedgwick and Job rounding out the podium in third. So that is our first race of the night, but good news is we have two more to go. And if you thought that was exciting, well, wait till we have what we have next for you here in the Kia BSR Classic, as we see a reverse donut. Very classy there from Andreas Katz. That was a bit rude. That was very rude. So, yes, we have plenty more for you. We've got two more 20-minute races coming up, both of which will be a reverse grid. And we're just going to get the reverse grid all set up, and we will be right back with you in no time at all. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you shortly here on Apex Racing TV. Welcome back to Apex Racing TV. Just while we're getting everything ready for the next race, Adam, why don't you run us down the full results after that action-packed first race here at Daytona International Speedway?
Sure, can do. Jack Sedgwick takes race 1 by 0.2 of a second over Andreas Katz. That's blindingly close. And then Sebastian Job less than a tenth behind that. So brilliant for the top 3 there. Thompson comes in 4th, and Jamie Fluke rounds out your top 5. Then we've got the winner of the Pro-Ams in Benjamin Gregory, followed by Jamie Rushworth, Stephen Baxter, Simon Field, and Sven Glatzel rounding out your top 10. 11th, we got Pete Newman. 12th, George Simmons, put my teeth in. 13th for Alexander Smolenski. 14th for Adam Barth, and 15th for Morgan Butler. Luke Cooper, Jack McIntyre, Andrew Woodhouse, Craig Williams, and then Jerome Kaiser rounds out your top 20. Ben Williams is 21st, with Peter Van Gool 22nd, Rob Graham 23rd, Andrew Whitehead 24th, and 25th for Scott Malcolm. John Roberts 26th, Mikey Key is 27th, Steve Richardson 28th, with Andrew Woodhouse 29th, and James Leggett rounding out your top 30. Kip Stevens 31st, Charles Kellyman in 32nd, Carl Hardy 33rd, Dave Baker 34th, our early leader Ross McFarlane down in 35th, followed by Jay Wright and Nicole Foggy. Josh Thompson there, the alter ego of the other man who may or may not have finished 4th overall. So that was the finishing results. And as we would normally do now, let's go and have a look at the reverse grid wheel and see who's going to be put on pole position.
And we have a full reverse grid.
Full reverse. Now, I think the way that they would usually do these is that you have to be 1 lap or less down. So I'm trying to see who that would be. I want to say that it would be Carl Hardy, question mark? If we can have a look at the results again, we can just confirm that for you. Seems we're having an issue getting the results up. So it's a full reverse. I have a feeling that it is Carl Hardy or Charles Kellyman, one of the two. But I'm sure the admins will know exactly who it is, and they will set up the next session accordingly. So we're going to go back to another commercial break, and we'll be back for the second race in the trio very, very shortly. Don't go anywhere.
Clear.
Okay, so we're just got to... Welcome back to Apex Racing TV. Very much our sincere apologies for the little drop in audio there. Just a little technical difficulty which can happen from time to time, but we do apologise, and we hope you've been enjoying the pictures in the meantime. And what a time to come back, because look at this, we've got 3 wide Kias everywhere all over the track heading through. This is, oh my goodness me, that takes so much trust between not only your drivers beside you skill, but their internet connection as well. The possibility of netcode incident there, massive, but big trust from all the drivers. This is absolutely fantastic stuff.
This is what you used to see week in, week out in the BSR Touring Car Championship in the Kia. We see it now in the ARL Touring Car Championship in the Audi. Oh, there's a big old bumping there, but look at, they just right themselves and away they go again. Someone's being dragged round a little bit, but off they go again. Look at them, they just keep going. They do not want to lose any positions. You just keep it pinned, you keep turning, and you hope that they stop bumping into you. And somehow, miraculously, they've sorted themselves out and they're still going.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Some of the saves we've seen as well as, whoa, that's the number 7 of Jamie Fluke getting his nose cut off by Sven Glatzel, and I have to say, Sven, his car is, well, it's looking a little bit second-hand. There's maybe a trip down to the local body shop required after this race, because, yeah, that car's had a few dings and dents throughout this race. Now, just let's have a Sebastian Job update. He's now up to 6th place, but actually the gap to the front of Ross McFarlane, who's now made his way into first, still sitting around 10 seconds. He's now having to get past the number 43 of Hardy, and Hardy in the Martini Kia. I bet no one's ever said that before. Martini Kia holding Sebastian Job up right now and not letting him by lightly at all, and all the while the others are just able to creep away. And great job by Ross McFarlane to get back into the lead, and I'm sure he'll be wanting to settle a score after his bad fortune in race 1.
Hey, well, I just seen someone go up into the outside wall. I didn't quite catch who that was. Someone just nosedive into the outside wall coming through the T3 of the oval. Again, not sure who that was. Maybe Jerome Kaiser, who's just jumped back to the pits. But yeah, you're right. Just an update. McFarlane did start on the front row. He dropped back, didn't he, in the early going, and has now managed to get himself back into the lead, passing Dave Baker. He's now got a half a second lead to him. George Simmons with a very opportunistic move over 2 battling Scotsmen, wasn't it? And he just snuck up the inside and got himself into 3rd position there. Kip Stevens keeping him in check with Job at 10 seconds back. He's got all the work to be doing now, hasn't he, to try and close that. And then Hardy Sedgwick up to 5th now. We were just saying how he was going to navigate his way through. Somehow he's managed to get through the cluster. Oh, Scott Malcolm gets a little bit of a love tap from I think that was John Roberts. And Malcolm and Graham again going for it. The 2 Scotsmen, they're having a right old humdinger, aren't they? They don't want to give anything up between them. National pride at stake, I feel.
They are, yes. This is bragging rights. Next time they're up at Knockhill for a track day or go-karting or what have you, that will be, bragging rights for sure. And these are 2 throwback liveries, one Rory Butcher, one Aidan Moffat livery. Very, very cool indeed. So, and Rob Graham just giving him just a little bit of a rub there, just saying, hello, I'm there, just in case you haven't noticed. And all the time, Roberts, he's just going, yeah, come on, boys, have a punch up, go for it. He says, I'll quite happily profit from your little squabble.
I can tell you from experience racing against both Malcolm and Graham, whenever you see them on the grid, my first thought is, how am I going to get past them? Because I know full well that they will fight hand over fist, tooth and nail, any other analogy you want to throw in it. They will fight you to the bitter end. And it's brilliant, but it's also very, very frustrating, because you know that you really have to work. Even if you're losing time to the people in front, they will keep fighting you. They will make you work for that position. Come the end of the race, it's brilliant because you know that you've been in a race, but certainly when you're racing against them, as Roberts is finding now, it can be very frustrating. But that's part of this racing. You know, everybody is out there racing each other. As Graham goes a little bit wide there, Malcolm sneaks up the inside, but Graham's managed to get it back together, and they're going to go side by side through the kink. This is nuts. Wow.
Look at this, coming into the West Horseshoe, and Malcolm's got the inside line on Graham, and Graham had made an amazing move around the outside into turn 1, but they've been side by side, and you're talking about that understeer. Look at that, the car's going straight, the wheels are pointed at a 45-degree angle. If you want to know what power understeer is, that's it. That's a front wheel drive car with maybe a little bit too much power than is good for it. And all the while, as we said, look at Roberts. He's now right in the draft of Graham, and Malcolm, he's kind of a bit hung out to dry there on the high side. This is going to be a little bit interesting going into the bus stop now. Who's going to blink first? Who's got the guts? And you were saying these two Scotsmen, they don't give up easy.
No.
Hip check, big old hip check, and there's another one. Robert's going, yeah, I can give you some of that as well. Have an elbow in the stomach there, young man, and through he goes. Whoa, giving as good as he gets there, and this is fantastic. Now, I tell you what, who needs Formula One when you've got touring car racing like this? You can it is brilliant. Just enough contact before it gets silly.
That was the brutal. Remember I said brutal at the start? That's it right there. And to top it all off, it looked like that Roberts actually got a slowdown coming out of the bus stop, so he had to yield the place again. But yeah, neither of them were willing to give an inch further. One gets shoved, one shoves back. Tit for tat, it's very playground stuff, but it's touring car racing, and it's what we love. Look at the cars behind. Who's that? Woodhouse behind. Kellerman defending from Woodhouse in the Team Mad car. It's just relentless. It just keeps going, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, Woodhouse. Is that he's in the number? No, which number? He's in the
Team Mad car in the number 27.
He is in the Team Mad car. Now, who's going to be his favourite deputy as a draft partner up on the high banks for Mark Woodhouse? Well, let's see who's going to give him a hand out on the high banks of Daytona. Just an update on the Scottish battle. Well, it looks like it's Graham who's got the upper hand just now, and he's got Roberts in between, so it looks like Roberts has got a lot of pace there as well, so watch for him to keep making moves forward. Speaking of, back at the front, Ross McFarlane, well, you always know you're doing a good job at the front of the race if you don't get much camera time. It means you've been inch perfect, and well, so far he is, but look at that, he's got Baker right on the back bumper, and with a couple of laps to go, this is far from over at the front of the field here. Dave Baker in the number 18 machine, right in the draft of McFarlane.
Baker is a machine. He's one of those drivers who very, very rarely puts a foot wrong. He's done over 600, I'm just checking the sheet now, 672 starts in the BSR Kia leagues, which is just insane. But he's maybe not as quick as some of the drivers out there, but he is uber consistent, and he will just sit behind you, and you'll be forced into a mistake because you know that he's not going to go away. He won't make a mistake. He will be with you until the very end. Of course, when the opportunities come his way, George Simmons defending there from Kip Stevens. Oh no, sorry, he's just taken a position from Kip there. But yeah, Dave Baker will just keep going and going and going and going. And if you slip up, he will be there and he will capitalise 100%.
He certainly will, and it looks like next time around they will catch the white flag signalling 1 lap to go in the second race of 3 here at the Daytona International Speedway for the BSR Kia Classic, and we have just been absolutely spoiled with some proper street brawl touring car action today. And I wonder if the number 28 of Scott Malcolm is maybe nursing a little bit of damage, because he's lost quite well. It looked like he'd maybe lost a little bit of ground there, but possibly not. The others have maybe come back to him a bit now, but just looks like he's maybe losing a few places as Jamie Fluke making his way through in the number 7 machine and up onto the high banks, and he's got a good run there out of turn 7, and that will carry all the way through to the bus stop. So let's see if Roberts is going to have another go, if he's going to have another pop at Graham.
I don't think he will. I think Fluke's just got the pace on him. I think both Roberts and Malcolm got some damage there from their elbow exchange, but yeah, we just see that the Fluke's just filtered in. Just to solidify what I was saying about Dave Baker there, He has a 57% top 10 finish rate from all of his races. That's how good he is in a Kia. Now just let that sink in. That's almost 2/3 of the races that he does. He finishes in the top 10. That's reverse grids included in over 670 races. That's mind-blowing.
Yeah, that is almost as impressive as the efficiency of its 2-litre economical engine and 7-year warranty of this Kia Optima.
And it comes in all the colours.
And it comes in all kinds of colours, as you can see on screen today. Now, I think we should cut back to our leader, because this is far from done there as well. Ross McFarlane then, he did not go his way in race 1, leading and got punted into the wall by Sebastian Job. He got charged by the Red Bull, but he's got a good exit here out of turn 7. You see the rear brake just glowing ever so slightly there, cooling off after that last corner. Now, can Baker get the draft? This is going to be a big ask. He'll have to get a very good exit out the bus stop if he's going to catch McFarlane here.
Yeah, he needs to be a little bit closer than he is now. Maybe 3 or 4 tenths. Look at that, McFarlane trying to break the toe, but Baker's right on him. 3 tenths. If he can keep it to sort of 3 tenths. Oh, McFarlane's throwing it in, isn't he? That's not an optimal line there. But somehow he's checked Baker up enough, and he's got a second gap. That is brilliant from McFarlane. He's gone in slower, checked Baker up, and now this wins in the bag. Wow.
That was risky. I have to say, what went through my head there was not again. I thought, oh no, here we go again. But it's going to be Ross McFarlane, our winner in race 2 of the BSR Kia Classic. Oh, it's a slower car there on the low apron. Great finish there from Baker in second place. And look at this battle still going on. Graham, Roberts, Malcolm, he's in there somewhere. He's just at the back of the shot. The 42 of Graham, 45 of Graham is going to take this little inner battle here. Is the number 28 of Malcolm. Is he going to get a little battle there as we see one of the other cars go through the middle? And Roberts, I wonder if he maybe got a slowdown penalty, because he was very, very slow there in the final part of the race.
Yeah, maybe, but they're still filtering across now. Glatzel looking to the outside. These just run out of space there. But brilliant racing up and down the grid. The whole field there was nip and tuck all the way through. And I'm so glad that we had a race like that. We were saying at the start of this race, weren't we? You know how it can be a little bit of a mosh pit, shall we say, with the cars. You know, the faster guys trying to force their way through, and the slower guys having their big battles for their chance in the spotlight. And I mean, everyone's driven pretty well. Everyone's driven pretty well. There's been some great battles, and this was true Kia BSR racing. I really enjoyed this one.
It certainly was, and I have to say, if you're not convinced of the credibility of sim racing, either in the driving or the entertaining spectacle, I think I can rest at night saying that will certainly put your concerns at rest. Because I have to say, Adam, the quality of driving on show there was really impressive. Some real hard racing and also some excellent entertainment. Let's see how our drivers finished then in this second race. Your winner then, Ross McFarlane, the number 10, the Scotsman for Pure Sim Esports, winning by 0.7 of a second from Dave Baker. In third, rounding out the podium, was George Simmons. Fourth was Kip Stevens, with Sebastian Job rounding out the top 5. Sixth was Jack Sedgwick, with 7th, Carl Hardy in the number 43 Martini Kia. In 8th was Jamie Fluke, with Simon Field in 9th, and the other Scotsman, Rob Graham, in 10th. 11th was Mark Woodhouse, with Scott Malcolm in 12th. 13th was Alexander Smolensky. 14th, Luke Cooper, with Kellyman in 15th, and Craig Williams in 16th. 17th was Van de Gool. 18th was Sven Glatzel. In 19th was our very own Adam Bath, with Pete Newman in 20th. 21st, Jamie Rushworth and Steve Richardson in 22nd. 23rd was Morgan Butler, followed by James Leggett, Jack McIntyre, Stephen Baxter, Thompson, and John Roberts. Now that's interesting there. John Roberts, is that... Now, Adam, is that the same John Roberts who was battling away at the front of the pack?
It was. I wonder if he didn't quite clear a slowdown from going
I
backwards,
wonder if that
maybe.
was what it was. That's what a pity for that then. Just for finishing out our runners then, my apologies. Viewers, 29th, Andrew Whitehead, 30th, Euron Kaiser, 31st, Jay Wright, 32nd, Benjamin Gregory, 33rd is of Cats, 34th, Andrew Woodhouse, 35th, Ben Williams, and 36th, Mikey Key.
Awesome.
So, now that we've had our results for race 2, it's now time to set the grid for race 3, Adam.
It is, and we'll pass it over to Dennis, who's going to do the honours and spin the wheel and let us know who's going to be starting on pole for the last race of the evening.
And it is P20, reverse grid to P20.
P20, so that would be Adam Bath.
Our very
pole
own Adam
position.
Bath.
Yeah, Adam Bath on pole position, sharing the front row with Sven Glatzel by the looks of it. Well, that'd be good for Adam. He'll be relishing that chance, and to see how he gets on, we'll have to check back in around 10 minutes or so for the third and final race of the evening in the BSR Kia Classic. Don't go anywhere.
Clear.
Welcome back to Daytona International Raceway. Under the lights here in Florida for the final race of the evening here on Apex Racing TV for the BSR Kia Classic. We have been absolutely spoiled with brilliant door-to-door touring car racing over the first two 20-minute races, and I'm sure this third race will be no different. But as you can see, somebody switched the lights off here in the Florida sky, and this is classic Daytona. Of course, the end of January, the season opener for the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, the Rolex 24-hour Daytona, is an amazing event, and watching the cars drive here at night is a real spectacle, and I'm sure it's going to be equally special here for our drivers. Looking on screen at number 45, Rob Graham, who certainly got his elbows out in his Automech Knockhill machine in race 2 and was able to triumph in the Battle of the Scots between himself and Malcolm. It was very, very exciting. And Adam, we've got another reverse grid action race today, so the field mixed up once more to add a little even more extra spice into proceedings.
Absolutely. Race 3 is everyone knows where they stand now. They've had their battles over the first two races. They know who they've got a grudge with. They know who they're racing to beat. And yeah, race 3 is the pinnacle of the evening. And this format traditionally over the Kia seasons, there was an incredibly long season that lasted a vast majority of the year, and they had the showdown, which was a few rounds at the end, where all the points would be reset. You'd get some bonus points from what you've accumulated over the course of the season, and it all come to a beautiful crescendo here at Daytona, traditionally, and it was always race 3 under the lights. So it's kind of a historical thing, but it's a really nice touch that we're having it tonight as well. We've carried on that tradition into the Touring Car Championship now in the Audi, but yeah, seeing the Kias under the lights at Daytona, you know that not only will there be fireworks in the sky at the end of the race, there'll be fireworks on the track during the race. It's one that all of the drivers absolutely savour.
And I have to say, I bet you they'll be delighted, with the Kia Optima, which of course comes with xenon headlights as standard, which is just ideal for this night running here.
You've really done your homework on the Kia, haven't you? Wow.
Can you guess which ones are true and which ones aren't? But do you know what? That is it's very. Of course, the touring car shares not so much with shares the body shell with the road-going car, and that's what I have to say. That's what I love about touring cars. And I grew up watching British touring cars in the real glory era, the super touring era, with guys like Rickard Rydell in the Volvo S40 and Jason Poleto in the Renault Laguna, and Laurent Aiello in the Nissan, and David Leslie in the Nissan, and so many other, Alain Menu, Ivan Muller in the Vauxhall Vectra. You could go on. And of course, the cool thing, I remember my dad had a Volvo T5 estate car at the time, and I remember going to Knockhill with him and Rickard Rydell. To be honest, forget Superman, forget Batman. No, Rickard Rydell in a Volvo. Well, that was he was cool. And John Cleland, of course, in the Vauxhall. Anyway, while I'll just take my rose-tinted spectacles off so I can introduce my esteemed colleague Alan Hedgecock to run us through race 3 grid order.
It seems like I'm totally rubbish at reading who's going to be on pole position from a reverse grid wheel, because I've got it totally wrong. We have Steve Richardson, who is on pole position. I'm just going to check my sheet really quickly, because yes, I am right. He is one of the founders of BSR, so it's fitting that he is leading the way in this final race. Jack McIntyre will be joining him on the front row, with Jamie Rushworth and Katz in 3rd and 4th. Stephen Baxter 5th, with Ross McFarlane in 6th. Dave Baker 7th. Morgan Butler 8th. John Roberts 9th. Sven Glatzel in 10th. Sebastian Job in 11th. I wonder what he can do from there. And Ben Gregory in 12th. Craig Williams 13th, with Simon Field, BSR Royalty, in 14th. Peter Van Gool 15th. Adam Bath in 16th. James Leggett 17th, and Jack Sedgwick in 18th. Luke Cooper and Andrew Whitehead round out your top 20. Pete Newman in 21st with Jamie Fluke in 22nd. The ever battling Rob Graham in 23rd with Carl Hardy in 24th. We have... where is my list? Sorry, my list has just gone off my eyes. Jay Wright in 25th. Apologies for that. Jerome Kaiser in 26th. George Simmons 27th. And Charles Kenneman 28th. Scott Malcolm 29th. And Josh Thompson in 30th. Mark Woodhouse down in 31st with Kip Stevens in 32nd. And who do we have at the back? That is all of them. It seems like we've missed a couple for this final race. But yeah, as we get ready to go green, it's going to be a glorious sight once more, I would hope.
I feel incredibly guilty now, Adam, because you've read those names perfectly, but they were in completely wrong order. As you can see, Adam Bath is at the front with Pete Newman, so I have no idea what happened there with our graphic. I didn't want to interrupt you. You were doing so well, so I'm so sorry to you and so sorry to our viewers, but it is Adam Bath and Pete Newman on the front row of the grid. So, Adam Bath in his West Indies paint scheme, he will head off and we go green here at Daytona International Speedway, the world centre of racing, and Pete Newman gets the jump on Adam Bath, but Bath tucks into second place with Glatzel just tucking in behind in third. Nice and neat and tidy so far from our drivers. There's Luke Cooper in there as well in that white, blue and pink machine. And look at this, you can't separate the two Scotsmen. Look at that. My goodness me, you got the number 45 machine there of Rob Graham of Wheelie Bin Gaming on Twitch, and Luke Cooper there in the 26 machine.
Once again, it seems to be pretty neat and tidy and clean going through the first few corners, doesn't it? You can tell these drivers know the car intimately, how well they can get round on the coldish tyres so far as they all start funneling into single file behind. No real big movers and shakers. I say that, but Josh Thompson's already made up 9 positions, 10 positions, and we're not even onto the oval section yet. Wow, that's some good going from Josh. No big losers there. Jack Sedgwick back. Words, Adam, words. Jack Sedgwick up 6 positions. Jamie Fluke up 6 also. Cool, that was a struggle.
Yeah, Sedgwick, he's we used up all your energy reading out the grid, so that's our fault. Sedgwick in the number 6 car, he's really making a move up the field. As Simmons also, and look, there's Sebastian Job not far behind either. You make a great point about tyre temperature. Of course, the one thing that's notorious, Daytona at night, it gets very cool, and that is not good for getting these tyres up to temperature. Pirelli tyres on these Kia Optimas as standard in iRacing and in the real world. So, lap 1 then, and we are off over the high banks, ready to complete the first lap of the final race of the evening. And it's always a little bit, feels like it's a bit calm before the storm here, Adam. Looks like it's the cork's in the bottle, but it's about to fly out any time now.
It is, and we do have to be a little bit careful. Pete Newman is very, very good in this car. He's driving very, very well in most things at the moment, and he's starting to build a bit of a gap. Now, Adam Bath, I don't think he's driven this for a while, so he'll be very conscious of that, of not losing Pete coming through these opening laps. But when you've got people like Craig Williams and Sven Glatzel and Jamie Fluke all behind you, you've got to have that in your mind as well. How much does he want to fight with them, and maybe let Pete go even further up? So, interesting strategies to be played out by Adam. So we wish him well with that one. And, yeah, it seemed like Rob Graham and Scott Malcolm were going to be glued together for another race, weren't they? In lap 1 there. They were side by side. It's like they hadn't finished racing race 2 yet.
Yeah, they're not finished just yet. This is going to carry on into this race 3 here. But you're absolutely right. I think you've got to worry about who's in your class. Worry about your class first of all, and then for example, if you're in the Pro-Am or Am and there's a pro driver, often you can almost let them through and then use them to your advantage. Try and follow them for a few laps and get towed along by them. So it's all about playing that strategy and playing smart. But Pete Newman, you're right, brilliant start, 1.5 seconds ahead of Adam Bath in the West Indies cricket car. And in third place, my apologies, the glitch on the time screen there, somebody's come into pit lane, that's right. So your order is Newman, Bath and Craig Williams. Of course, Craig Williams set up shop on his own, in his own business, with setups for iRacing.
He does indeed. He also drives around with a picture of his face on the side of the car, which is very distracting when you're trying to race him. Glatzel and Fluke going side by side behind. Glatzel is a pretty accomplished driver in the Kia, knows his way around it pretty well. And yeah, we can see there having a good old battle with Fluke. Sedgwick just cruising up behind. We can see how detrimental it is to battle. There's some gaps forming up behind them already. You know, as soon as you start battling with another driver, you're going to lose that momentum. And we've said it so much tonight already, haven't we? The draft is king here. You really want to be sticking with the group in front, even if you have to sacrifice a position or two to make it happen. You want to be right at the sharp end come the end of the race.
Yeah, it's massive in all categories of motorsport here at Daytona, and I have to say Jamie Fluke doing a grand job here, fighting his way up to the front, and Jamie Fluke proving that his performance in race 1 was certainly no flash in the pan.
No, absolutely, and I have to give a shout out to Jamie because he's my coach in the Apex Racing Academy. He's showing me the way in the McLaren, which is glorious. So he knows his way around lots of cars. Of course, he is a World Championship driver, I believe. I think, yes, he is. There, just checking my sheet. Yeah, he's pretty accomplished in pretty much everything that he races in, and it's good to see him doing a good job out there tonight.
Yeah, he's a Tag Heuer Porsche Esports Super Cup driver, and we all know how highly competitive that series is. So that's the type of credentials that he's got for the Northern Irishman. So, 3 laps down then already here at Daytona, and Craig Williams has got up past Adam Bath, but Adam Bath isn't going to let him have it. Adam Bath going up to the high side, and then he's going to go for the switchback. Look at this. Go on, Adam. He's our very own, our commentary colleague, and he sends it up the inside. Is there going to be a little contact there? But I tell you what, great driving there from Craig Williams. Gives the room, avoids them both getting in a wreck there, and carries on and lives to fight another day. That was very smart from Williams there. And actually, you know what? Very smart from Adam Bath as well. Made him sort of flinch there. That's touring car racing. That's fantastic stuff from both of those drivers.
No, you're not wrong at all. Adam Bath there showing that, you know what, you can have the position for just a little bit, and then I'll take it back from you. Kind of crazy when they come down into turn 1, isn't it? It's almost like Moto GP, or he runs wide there at the second horseshoe. He has got the inside line as they come back onto the oval in just a moment's time, but Williams will have more momentum around the outside, surely. You have to get the power down a little bit better. But of course, now he's out wide. All of the cars coming up the inside, we can see that little train. We like to call it the freight train in the touring car leagues. They're all waiting. As soon as one of these guys make a mistake, they will all be over it, and they'll all be vying to get past.
I have to say, Adam Bath is really putting in a great performance here, hanging with these guys. And we're going to go 3 wide down into the bus stop, and Sven Glatzel had to come out the gas there, because that would have been an interesting one there. Craig Williams also having to filter into position there. So Adam Bath then leads the train as they head back up onto the oval section. The high bankings of Daytona, so famous, of course, one of the real meccas of speed in the United States, where, well, up until the late 1980s, the NASCARs here, they were qualifying over 200 miles an hour. Quite a scary thought indeed.
Wow, that doesn't sound fun in my eyes, but hey, someone's got to do it. We see some bump drafting going on behind there. There's that Fluke and Sedgwick, they're both World Championship drivers, and of course Sebastian Job's in with them as well. This is what's so brilliant about these touring car races. You've got these World Championship drivers. Adam Bath has gone wide, and there's that freight train I was talking about. Look at them all just trying to get past now, scrambling for the positions. But you've got these World Championship drivers racing against people with 17, 1800 I ratings, giving it as good as they've got. Adam Bath, 1,610 I rating against Jack Sedgwick with 7,605. George Simmons 6,700, and Jamie Fluke and Sebastian Job around 8,500 each. It's crazy, but it's brilliant. This is why we love it. Adam Bath getting really stuck in now.
Yeah, quite right too. I think when you've got your you've got your moment with the fast drivers. You've really just got to just take your opportunity and get your elbows out for Adam. That's really good stuff. But Sebastian Job gives him plenty of room, gets by, gets a good drive out of turn 7. Crucial corner that. It's a really tricky corner. I can never quite figure out what the line is through there and eating certain cars and trying to get on the gas as early as you can, but not wash out the front in the front wheel drive car, or in a rear wheel drive car, let it get loose. You can easily spin there as well. I have to say, I was doing that, funnily enough, a night race at Daytona as we see Sven Glatzel moving up the inside.
Craig Williams gets a swapper on.
Sat Jack Sedgwick there. Oh, that was close. But Craig Williams be getting a bit of an escape here at the front, which is good for him. And all the while, Pete Newman, he's off at the front, 2.5 seconds in front. So he's driving a brilliant reverse grid race here. But Sebastian Job, he's right involved in the fight now as well, getting a good old toe. And he's in that ideal inside line now. But he goes up high, going risky. Going to try and break round the outside, which you can do. There's a slightly flatter part here. You'll see Craig Williams' car. Oh, that's another. Oh, my goodness me. That was a big tap there from Sebastian Job into the back of Jack Sedgwick, and that will not have gone down well.
How did Jack Sedgwick control that? That was mental. He was literally going sideways, coming down into... Oh, there's a big shot.
That's a good one.
Does not go. Wow, who was that come off worse?
Glatzel.
Thompson. Oh, Glatzel on the outside, yeah.
My apologies if it's not. Sven Glatzel. Whoa, wow.
Yeah, that was a big one. Not giving each other enough room. I'm sure they would have known they were 3 wide there, surely. But Glatzel coming off worse. But yeah, that save from Sedgwick was monumental. Coming into the left-hander, turning right as he approached the braking zone was outstanding. Brilliantly driven, and I suppose that's why he's got a World Championship license to be able to do things like that.
Well, for Sedgwick and for Job, I mean, they were probably not bothered with going in there at 3 because they go, well, at least I'm not on the outside. It's not going to be me who gets off worse. And poor old Sven Glatzel, and he was a bit of an innocent bystander there and unceremoniously punted off there. But you've got to imagine that the temperature in the cockpit between Job and Sedgwick, that's the tempers are probably going to start to get a little frayed. We've still got another 8.5 minutes or so of this race, and plenty more to unfold here in this final race of the evening. And if you're Pete Newman up in the lead, and if you can just about see this in the mirror, if he can just about see this battle in the mirror, he'll be thinking, oh yes, fantastic guys, have a good old dig, have a good old punch up, that's perfect for me, I'll just scamper away at the front.
He will indeed. He's of course another Kia veteran. He's done over 550 races. He's won 6 in his time there, and he's got a top 10 percentage of 27%. So again, one of the long time racing drivers in the Kia. Certainly knows his way around it, and like I said earlier, he's pretty accomplished in most things. So I don't think being out in front will faze him at all. He'll just get his head down, try and put the laps in, and try and bridge the gap. Well, try and make the gap, to Sedgwick behind. But Job and Simmons. Less than a second between the 3 of them. They're going to be chasing hard. On board with Job there. That was quite breathtaking, wasn't it, as he approached the kink?
It really was. The kink is a really tricky corner, especially I found doing some laps in this car. That's when the understeer can really kind of push, and at high speed is hard to control, and you've got to be very delicate with the throttle and the steering input as well. So yeah, very tricky through there, especially if you've got a Sebastian Job or a Sedgwick nudging you as you're going through the kink there. Now for Pete Newman, over 500 starts, 6 wins. You think for him to get another win today, that's going to mean an awful lot to him, especially with this quality of field chasing him down.
Oh, he would be loving it. To be honest, any of the drivers that come tonight have come to celebrate the Kia. It was kind of put by the wayside when the Audi TCR came out. These guys are absolute veterans in the Kia. They drove it. I'm not going to carte blanche it and say that they loved it. Because I'm sure at times they detested it, but over the years they know this car. They've been part of the car's history on iRacing, So coming here and being close to a podium or even winning a race for any of these drivers will be an absolute brilliant feeling for them. So Pete, out front, will be absolutely loving it right now.
Oh, and look, as Sebastian Job goes round the outside, I think he's maybe going to be a little bit deep there, and he has to cut in back behind Simmons and Sedgwick. He gets to the front of the group, but Craig Williams is right there as well in the blue and orange machine, and there's Pete Newman just going around the International Horseshoe. And Sedgwick, Job, Simmons, Williams, all wedged in together. They're in a pack, and I have to say, Adam, if they're smart and if they've got ambitions to win this race, which of course they do, they've actually probably got to calm down on the fighting now and actually work together to pull each other up towards Newman, I would wager.
You would think so, but with just over 5 minutes remaining, I would imagine that they'll start thinking maybe we can't quite do this, so let's see who's going to finish second. Race drivers be race drivers. If they can't win, they want to be as high up as possible. I think that at the moment that gap is a little bit too much for them. So we'll see though. They might surprise me. They might come back. We see Simon Field having a good old battle here with Malcolm and Baker in there as well. Nice little battle. So again, long time Kia drivers all out there enjoying themselves, it seems.
Yeah, brilliant battle. Scott Malcolm in the Laser Tools Kia number 31. I think he's actually changed number in between the two sessions for some reason, which is bizarre. I actually nearly called him Andrew Woodhouse there because he was running the 31 earlier on in the night, so that's caught me off guard a little bit. Oh, goodness me, that was a big old nudge there. Huge nudge. But Scott Malcolm able to just about survive there, but it's kind of checked him up a little bit. But he'll tuck in behind he'll tuck in behind Field, the 28 car, and look at Sedgwick. Sedgwick now edging to the front now of this little group here, and they are giving themselves a little bit more space, it would appear, for now. Let's say I say for now. That is got a big asterisk above it. And for Newman, well, they are closing this gap now. Yeah, look at that. He's Newman just at the International Horseshoe, and there's not that much, not that big a gap now. That gap is definitely coming down between Sedgwick and Newman, and you maybe think that common sense is going to prevail for the guys behind them. They look like they're just giving that little bit more, almost a little bit of social distancing there. 2 meter social distancing to do. We should call it 2 meter drafting social distancing just to cool themselves back up. And I think if I were a betting man, I would say that we're going to end up with a 5-car punch-up going into the last lap.
I don't think you're too far off it there. Sedgwick, we know, is incredibly fast in this car. He has been in all of the seasons he's raced. He's been blisteringly quick. But this is a draft track, so even if the guys behind can't quite stick with him through the infield, this draft should bring him right back up onto his rear bumper again. So I still think Pete might have enough here. I'm going to throw that out there. I think he might just have enough, although it is getting a bit closer. Oh, it's going to be close. It's going to be brilliant. Don't go anywhere.
Oh no! Do not adjust your set. That's an old way to say from live streaming on YouTube, isn't it? Do not adjust your computer set or your smart TV or whatever you're watching. Don't touch a thing. And maybe put the volume up, and you'll hear the thrum of a 4-cylinder Korean pedigree 2-litre motor here. It's echoing around the banks of Daytona. And look at Simmons and Job. They go to the low side, and Job is not afraid of trading some paint there. No problem at all. And he goes to the high side there, hard on the brakes. This is oh my goodness me. Sebastian Job, my word. Yes, he is so hard on the brakes there, but Simmons was all the match for him there. And actually you would think that would have maybe given Sedgwick a little bit of a gap, but it hasn't done. And for Newman, he's probably looking in his mirror all the time, although you shouldn't. It's impossible not to. He's probably looking in the mirror going, oh, please, just come on, white flag, come on, Barney, show me the white flag, please.
I have to admit, if I was in Newman's position right now, I would be looking in my mirror and I would be egging them on to keep fighting. I think they've just about dropped Williams now. I don't think he's been able to keep with this pace. We can see Sedgwick through the infield. He does create a bit of a gap, but coming through the oval section, it looked like Job was just giving a little bit of bump draft to Simmons, just trying to keep him in touch with Sedgwick, with maybe then the hope that he can make a big move on the last lap to take both of them, but incredibly close. I think this is still our closest battle. Nope, I am wrong. We do have a closest battle. Kaiser and Kellerman and Roberts having a bit of a ding-dong down in 19th, 20th and 21st, as we see. Well, that was unfortunate. That might have been why they're having a ding-dong. Jerome Kaiser is off the track.
Jeroen Kaiser, team mad number 25. He certainly will be mad behind the wheel of that car, will the Dutchman. And this is all heating up now. They will take the white flag this time around, and George Simmons doing a great job to hold off Sebastian Job. And I have to say, Adam, the bump drafting, we saw a brilliant race in the Rickmatech Sports Car Series here on Apex Racing TV on Monday night, where two TCR drivers in the Audi TCR car tried to bump draft with one another, and it ended up in a whole load of tears. As Sebastian Job goes to that high line again, is he going to be able to be late enough on the brakes? I tell you what, Simmons has been inch perfect into turn one there, holds his line nicely. Sebastian Job takes a look up the inside, but I tell you what, George Simmons, he is making that car so wide and being totally fair, totally firm, and holding a very accomplished sim racer, one of the best guys in the world on iRacing.com, and keeping him at bay. A brilliant job from the number 4 driver, George Simmons. Brilliant stuff.
I have to agree with every single word of that. George, of course, is the TCR Academy teacher, if you will, for Apex Racing Academy. So, he knows his way around these touring cars. He knows how to race touring cars properly. We see him on the Thursday night successor to this league, driving brilliantly well. So yeah, he won't be fazed by having Job behind him. He'll see that as a real challenge, and yeah, I know George. I've spoken with him plenty of times. He loves a good challenge, and he loves coming out the other side of it and thinking, yeah, I did well tonight.
I'm sure what may, he will definitely be able to go to sleep tonight, proud of his efforts. But Pete Newman, just the bus stop to go then for the number 9 machine. Pete Newman Media on the side there. Of course, as we said, a P. Newman Esquire many years ago had plenty of success here in the at Daytona at the Daytona International Speedway. So it's going to be, well, Pete Newman, has he got enough gas to keep Cedric behind? Cedric's got a brilliant run out the bus stop. Look at this. Here goes Cedric on the chopper cam. I think he might get the draft here. Oh, goodness me. Pete Newman will be defending. He'll be welling for the checker flag. Look at Cedric. Cedric on the outside. Cedric takes it. Cedric takes it on the line by a wheel length from Pete Newman. Oh, what a shame for Pete Newman. He did everything right until the last 2 meters, and Cedric takes it by a cigarette paper here to win the final race in the BSR Kia Classic. What an absolute thriller. And look at Jamie Rushworth edging his way through in the number 3 car as well. Adam, what do you make of that finish?
0.02, 2 100ths of a second Cedric won that by. That is brilliant. Heartbreaking for Newman. He drove so well, but Cedric timed it to perfection. Well driven from Cedric. Great drive from Pete Newman. Simmons stayed ahead of Sebastian Job there by 4 1,000ths of a second. I said there'd be fireworks. We've had fireworks. What an amazing final race that was.
I have to say, I do apologise for shouting there, but that was that got my blood moving. It really did. Jack Sedgwick, what can you say? I have to say, when they came at the bus stop, I thought, nah, it's done. But Cedric, you could just see how good a run he got, and for Newman, that must have just been torture watching that car, that number 6 machine of Cedric, just getting bigger and bigger and bigger in the mirror. But of course, Pete Newman still wins his class, still wins the Pro-Am class. But he would have so desperately wanted that win. But well done, Jack Sedgwick. A very, very good drive indeed. But you got to feel for this man, Pete Newman.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said earlier, he's been riding the crest of a wave a little bit recently. In fact, he's the Season 1 ARL TC AM champion. He beat me in that league. So he's coming in on a crest of a wave. He drove brilliantly well. It's such a shame for him not to get the outright win. But I mean, if you say to Pete, coming into this, you're going to get P2 in race 3, would he take it? I'm sure he would have loved that and would have bitten your hand off for it.
Yes, you're absolutely right, and that's the way to approach it, and that is motorsport, and that is why we love racing. And there's just something so unique about this Daytona International Speedway road course. I love it. I just think it really lends to those close finishes. And when you get finishes that are separated by a couple of seconds over 24 hours, well, when you've got a 20-minute sprint race, it's no surprise that we've had so many close finishes tonight. Adam, this has been an absolute thriller in the BSR Kia Classic. We should get our results up very shortly, and I'm going to give you a rest because you did so well with the order.
Just in case I read out the wrong order.
Raise your voice. No, that was it. You only had to read what was in front of you, so I shall take this one on. So your winner then, Jack Sedgwick, by 2/100ths of a second from the incredibly unfortunate Pete Newman, who so nearly had it, drove a flawless race, but a brilliant second place finish nonetheless. Third was George Simmons in the Apex Racing Academy number 4 machine, holding off the Red Bull Racing esports driver of Sebastian Job. Fifth was Craig Williams, alongside sixth was Ross McFarlane. Actually, a good recovery of the night, a win and a 6th place after the calamity of race 1. 7th was Jamie Fluke with Thompson in 8th. 9th was Rob Graham. 10th, Luke Cooper. 11th was Dave Baker. Katz finishing in 12th. Simon Field in 13th. Kip Stevens in 14th. Jamie Rushforth 15th. Jack McIntyre 16th. Morgan Butler in 17th. Kellyman in 18th. 19th was John Roberts, with Steve Richardson rounding out the top 20. Jeroen Kaiser in 21st after that late incident in his Team Mad machine. Mark Woodhouse finishing 22nd alongside Adam Bath in 23rd after a good charge at the beginning of the race and dropped back towards the end. 24th was Scott Malcolm with James Leggett in 25th. Carl Hardy in the Martini Kia in 26th. 27th was Sven Glatzel after getting fired into the wall at the International Horseshoe by Sebastian Job. 28th was Andrew Whitehead. 29th, Stephen Baxter. 30th, Jay Wright. 31st, Benjamin Gregory. And Van de Gaulle, number 30, finishing in 32nd place. So we shall hopefully, let's have a little look to see if we have anyone coming to join us in the interview waiting area. Not yet. While we do wait for that for a little bit, Adam, what was who's been your driver of the day? I'm going to put you on the spot now. Who's been your pick of the day today?
Oh, well, there's been so many great drives, hasn't there? I mean, you think of race 1, McFarlane had a bit of an issue, didn't he? Had to really work for his positions there. Race 2, we saw Rob Graham and Scott Malcolm and John Roberts having a brilliant battle between the three of them, which seemed to go for the entire race. Pete Newman drove so well today and came so close to taking an outright win as a Pro-Am. Sedgwick drove brilliantly. Job done well. Simmons seemed to be godly on the brakes all night. Dave Baker drove well in race 2 as well. So it's hard to kind of give one person the driver of the night. But you know what? I'm just going to say, from what we've seen, what we've covered, everyone should give themselves a good pat on the back because it has been brilliant, it's been entertaining, and it's brought back all the great memories of the Kia League, when we used to run it not so long ago.
And I think we might have to make the BSR Kia Classic an annual event because, the drivers tonight, they put on the most spectacular show, and if we can come back here to Daytona, even better. My pick for the night, I have to say, I'm going to go for Sedgwick because, you know what, he never gave up. And a lot of drivers in there sitting in that second group watching Pete Newman far up the road, for him to really dig in that number 6 machine and get close enough. And even coming out the bus stop on the last lap, I thought, this is going to be a tall ask. But he just got the draft absolutely perfectly and nicked it on the line. And I have to say, that never say die attitude, for me, he gets my pick. But I completely echo your sentiments. Quality up and down the field. Hard racing, proper touring car racing. Sometimes you can see the kind of driver manners can sometimes go a little bit too far, and you're going, come on, no, rub a bit of paint. And that was certainly, we saw plenty of that. And obviously, as you say, lots of drivers who are used to driving wheel to wheel with one another and know each other well, and that came across in spades tonight. So let's see if we've got anyone coming to join us.
We do. One of your fellow Scots is here.
Well, we do. We have a fellow Scot. So let's get Ross McFarlane in, our race 2 winner, in for a little chat in the booth here, and we'll see what he thinks of his evening's work. Ross McFarlane, a fellow Scot, hello. Welcome to the commentary box here on Apex Racing TV. Tell us about your night.
Yeah, hi. That was an interesting evening to come back to the Kia and have one evening to duke it all out for a bit of prize money. I'll say it was a little bit tortuous. The tires don't quite agree with the track, but all in all, I think it was a good event.
Certainly a pleasure for Adam and I up in the booth to call it. Now, I have to ask, tell us about your account of race 1. You're leading really strongly, driving the perfect race, and all of a sudden you get help and you're in the wall. Tell us how you found that incident.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I think I had the quickest car potentially on the whole grid. Qualifying, I got a good lap and a bit of draft, so to qualify over half a second on pole is a bit unrealistic to the reality of the pace. But yeah, leading the race, I was able to pull away slightly in the infield. I think I'm doing well. Cedric started to come back. I know Jack's incredibly fast in any car, but particularly these front wheel drives as well. And I just wanted to let him take the lead, take it quite cleanly, so I could slot back in. I think there was maybe one of us braked a little bit later than we expected, and we ended up entering that bus stop too wide. Job then braked into the space behind, and unfortunately, we're just left with nowhere to go but contact, and that put me in the wall, which is very frustrating. But then, race 2 with the full reverse, I was able to jump straight back into it.
You certainly did, and I'm sure you'll be very pleased with that. Now, we're going to get some racing back at Knockhill very shortly. Are you going to go up and watch some of the racing going on there over the next few weeks?
Oh, I certainly hope so. It'd be nice to go and watch. I didn't go last year, and that makes me feel even worse about the whole situation that we're in right now in the world, where it makes it difficult to go to events and whatnot. So I'd love to head up and see some real touring car racing. Maybe see some foes and some friends on the track as well that we've come to know over the years.
Well, do come and say hello. I'll see you up there at the home of Scottish Motorsport. Now, at the risk of sounding like Scottish Motorsport Hour, I must let you go, Ross. Before we let you go, if there's anyone you want to give a shout out to live here on Apex Racing TV.
Oh, I just cheers to the organisers. I think Kip and Jamie put this together. It's been a real fun event. Cheers to you guys for doing the commentary, making the broadcast this evening, and hopefully we do another event like this sometime in the future. Maybe not this combination. It is exciting, but it's a tough drive. But we'll see. No, but thanks to everyone.
Why do you think I came to the commentary box for this one?
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming to join us, Ross, and well done on your win in race 2 this evening. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers.
Ross McFarlane, always a pleasure to talk to him. Like I said earlier, he is the current pro champion for the spiritual successor of the Kia League. So a man in form, and it sounds like he had a great bit of fun out there tonight.
Yeah, he certainly did. It's I think he kept his. Sometimes it's always interesting asking drivers what they think about a controversial incident. But I always like to get each driver's account. Just no accusations. Just say, what did you think? And it's interesting how a lot of them kind of refer to their day out on track. But yeah, Ross did a really good job getting it to victory lane in race 2 and proving that just how deep and competitive this field actually was tonight. And that's about all we've got time for here on Apex Racing TV for the BSR Kia Classic. It's been an absolute pleasure to call 3 incredibly exciting races with my colleague Adam Hedgecock. Adam, you have kept me right. This is obviously a series you know inside out, and you have guided me well throughout this evening. And I have to say, I will be lobbying to join you in the commentary box once more for this fantastic paddock of drivers. Before we go, any final thoughts to share with our viewers?
You flatter me with your compliments. Thank you for that. No, it's been a lot of fun. It's the first time that we have called together. It's the first time that we've been with Dennis as well. It's been good fun. The racing tonight is all that I hoped for. When I saw that this event was happening, I just hoped and prayed that it would be as good as it used to be, and it didn't disappoint. For me, it's been brilliant. I can't wait to watch the action back again. I'll probably pour myself a glass of wine in a little while and rewatch it and enjoy it all over again.
Well, funnily enough, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to pour myself an innocent gun lager brewed here in the lovely city of Perth and listen to your dulcet tones and my Scottish screeching over what has just been some amazing racing tonight. So that's all we've got time for on Apex Racing TV. If you enjoyed the broadcast tonight, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and look at all the amazing races we have from all over the globe here on iRacing.com. We'd love to have your company. Thanks also to our producer Dennis Branch, bringing these wonderful images and graphics to you this evening. Impossible to do our job without his great work. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Apex Racing TV.